Yeah.
Yeah. We're live. Welcome
to the Late
Sesh.
Sesh.
I like how Nuttree totally forgot within 5 seconds.
Maybe you can just get a shipping container instead. Get a shipping container. You can always turn that into a grow.
If you put it on wheels, you don't have to have a permit for it.
Ooh.
What was it? I think my brother sent me.
But don't live in it because then they call it a mobile home.
Yeah.
There's some guy making like
There's no wheels.
In New Jersey, there's office buildings made out of them. They got them stacked up where the ends open up like big bay doors, and it's pretty cool looking.
Really?
Yeah. I've seen that in New Jersey. It's pretty unique.
I want to say I saw somewhere they did a hotel out of it.
So there's no shipping containers in residential. Fuckers.
Yeah.
I don't know about commercial. I've seen other commercial containers.
In Kalkaska, they have some grow containers that they use just down the road from Classic Roots and Freedom Green. There's some shipping containers that they have grows in. I don't know who owns them.
We never could figure out who owned them. But
it's a grow right around the corner there, though.
In Kalkaska.
That from where we grew.
Maybe it's just a personal caregiver grow, or was it really big?
It was pretty big.
It was pretty decent size, actually.
But maybe they had caregivers inside them or something. Maybe they had it set up to where they were caregiver.
How dope would that be if you had some land and you just slapped a bunch of containers on it, fitted them all out for grow rooms, and just
put all GML lights in it?
Just rented them all out to fucking different caregivers, so there'd be a secure spot. You know what I mean? You didn't have to like have it in your home residence or anything.
Yeah, that
we talked about that a long time ago, but it was more like buying a storage facility and just like
a storage facility.
Yeah, and you just have everybody. Oh, you don't have room for 12 at your house. You know, here's a little room, whatever. But there's a lot of things you can do with those shipping containers. Like I remember, what is that? I think I'm looking at them here. There's one company my brother sent me, and like they were like, you don't need these certain permits because it's like on wheels or something. It's like mobile or something, and like it was skirting all the loopholes. It was awesome, but
just the loophole machine.
Yeah,
you get yourself in a township that won't allow those things. You know, like it's weird. Like all of a sudden, you know, townships are opting in and out of all kinds of. I mean,
that's when you just vote out your ordinance writer.
Stuff like some, you know, like I want to use. I want to use waste to build a house. You know, for example, like you can really build earth ships and shit like that out of tires and dirt and things like that. But like, there's areas that won't allow it just because it doesn't conform to the other homes in the area or whatever. You know, you can't have privacy fences in your front yard type shit. So they definitely don't want to see a shipping container home.
I saw something online recently that somebody didn't get their paint approved on their home with the HOA in their neighborhood because I guess they like painted the outside of their brick or something, and the HOA made them fucking spray it all off. I was like, fuck that shit, I'd be moving.
HOAs are assholes.
Yeah, I could.
But the real assholes are the people that continue to flock and buy a house and get told it's in a HOA, and they're like, okay, whatever, and then they bitch when they can't paint their house. And now your HOAs are mainly owned by corporations. They're ran by some asshole in your neighborhood, but the neighborhood the HOAs are usually built by giant corporations.
Yeah, they're all
like HOAs. Neighborhoods are stupid. Like it's just new age segregation, so that like people can separate themselves from certain things and make their own stupid rules. Yeah. It's like the problem I have with certain neighbors. It's like, mind your own business. What's on my lawn is not affecting you. What's on my property isn't affecting you. So like, but it's that, I don't know. I find it with the older crowd, they want to control the area around them. Everything they can see from their house too. Not just where they live in it. I think you're muted, Spartan.
Yeah. It reminds me of a certain neighbor. Hey, what you got going on in there?
Hobbies. Fuck off. Yeah, Yeah, it's just like, yeah, like what kind of question is that? What do you do in your house? Huh? What do you do up there in your bedroom? Huh?
That's the thing. Nobody ever comes back with a comment like that. So come back with it and say what's
Yeah.
going on at your place.
No, what you tell him, Baked, to say that's my sex palace. So you don't want
Yeah.
you don't want to be poking around
A
in
red
there.
room.
That's where I have my orgies.
And you're not invited.
Yeah. Oh, those deliveries, that's deliveries of wholesale lubricant.
With that one.
A 55-gallon drum. That was just
55.
rude.
You saw those stainless steels getting moved in? Yeah, those lubricant. It's just all lubricant, man.
What was
But
that
yeah,
big freezer we moved in there? Though you could put like 10 bodies in.
that was to freeze lubricant in case there's apocalypse and we have some in storage. Doesn't stay good on the shelf. Everybody knows that if you go to orgies. No. Neighbors, yeah, I think neighbors are nosy. Neighbors are how I got caught, I'm pretty sure, when I got busted. Because one of them snitched about the smell. Probably called the cops. And they just don't mind their own business. I've never bothered a neighbor. I've never been like, look at your yard. You need to do this. You need to do that. Or, like I've never even had that thought. Like, because it's not my fucking property.
I
So,
feel you. The closest I've ever gotten to do anything like that is, and my neighbor's really testing me because it's been going on for years now. But I have a neighbor that likes to fly his American flag upside down because the person he voted for didn't win. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I have a lot of veterans in my fucking family, and flying your flag upside down is a sign of that you need help. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And,
distress.
you're in distress, and you need rescuing. And
I've
that's
seen flag policies in HOAs in townships. I've seen townships have flag policies.
I believe it.
I often thought of writing a strongly worded letter and sticking it in his mailbox, but I haven't done anything. It's just annoying.
You could do it, yeah, an anonymous letter.
The HOA that our neighborhood, we got really lucky, man. It's a whole bunch of younger families, and so like the rules
Those generally are better because
the rules are a bit uptight, but nobody. Some of the homes are following them, but like, dude, like, there's people with like some seriously rough looking yards. You know what I mean? Like they don't cut their grass, and like we're not supposed to have trailers or anything parked more than like whatever is 24 hours. Dude, everybody's got fucking trailers. You're not supposed to run a business out of your fucking home, and that's a township fucking policy on residential. But like, there's people with fucking signs for businesses fucking all over our neighborhood. They got fucking
everybody's doing OnlyFans. That's
a dude with the landscape company who's got like 3 trailers right out, they're permanently out in front of his fucking house. I mean, more power to people, you know what I mean? Because everybody's got their garbage cans out. So we all have attached garages, you know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to keep their garages inside or keep their garbage cans inside their stinky garage. It's going to stink up their house or whatever, and it's like, keep them outside, fuck off.
I never lived somewhere where you had to pull that in.
Then that just means I got to clean the garbage can because I'd be smelling it all the time, and then it means that it's in the back of my head, and it's like, no, you don't clean your garbage can. It's garbage.
We live in one of the largest like square footage countries, so it's like if you want to do your own thing, you can go find some land. Don't move in somewhere and tell people how to keep their garbage or their trailers.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you actually care about that shit, you gotta be away from people, because like being around people is not your thing. You gotta like live and let live. We got really lucky with our neighbors. Our neighbors are really cool because we grow cannabis. We got
they're older,
dog.
same people who've been here forever.
They've been here as long as I've been here, longer. The lady lives right next door to me. She was one of the first owners of the homes in this neighborhood, which was built in like, I don't know, 94, 2000, somewhere in the range, 95, 96, somewhere in the range in early 2000s. And so she's lived here for fucking almost 30 years. Yeah, 30 years, something like that. It's wild. And so her, us, a couple of the other around our little curve have some of the bigger lots in the neighborhood, and she's super cool. Neighbors on the other side of us are super cool. like a whole huge family. You know, the grandkids are living there, great grandkids are living there. There's fucking people there, tons of people there all the time. Soccer ball ends up in our yard all the fucking time. You know, kids up in the tree throwing apples at us and shit. You know, they're fun people. I go over there and I bring them eggs and fucking vegetables and shit all the time, all summer. And I'll probably get a jar of Granddaddy Purple or one of these ones here in a little while when I see him out there and walk a little. Yeah, get a big old weed leaf on his shirt the other day. You know, he's always asking me what's going on.
We're like, oh, he's trying to tell us he's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He out there with my weed leaf on my shirt, you know.
That's awesome.
You saw him out there with his weed leaf on his shirt. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Because he just sits out on the porch all day, you know, hanging out in the summertime. And I'm like, dude's baked. He's just sitting out there chilling. He's plenty retired. He's an older guy. And he might even be in his late 60s, 70s, something like that. And then just like the whole plethora of grandkids, which are all really cool, really nice. And they're always out there having a good time. We got a very nice, fortunately, lively neighborhood. Next stop, I don't think is going to be a subdivision. I don't think we could hit the jackpot like this twice. I hear horror stories all the time. My parents have a wonderful neighborhood, but like they come from a neighborhood where like most of the people still in their neighborhood have been there for 30, 40 years. One of the people that lived just a couple of doors down from them lived there for like 50 years, 60 years, something like that. You know, they were one of the elders in the neighborhood, and there's a lot of younger people moving in now, but it's still quiet. You know, you can find yourself a good neighborhood like that where people are just like, they just don't care. You know, that's cool. Like, I guess it's regional, definitely, wherever you are. In Michigan, certainly, you know, regional for sure. We definitely wouldn't be able to grow weed if we lived in certain regions of the state, you know, even in our own backyard area, you know what I mean? We wouldn't be able to grow our weed in the other side of our subdivision, as a matter of fact, because the real estate changes. We go from our homes, which are, I don't know, middle class home subdivision, you know, to the other side of our subdivision, which is like upper middle class, 1% neighborhood. It's fucking weird. And you get into that neighborhood and there's like fucking Bentleys and shit. It's totally different fucking class divide. Like our neighborhood, there's like, you know, don't paint their houses and shit like that, long grass, and then it's like boom, class divide. Super bizarre, but it's all within like this, you know, it's like a square mile. It's the only thing around. They're surrounded by fucking cornfields. Like you look at it on a map, it looks deadly. You're like, how the fuck did they throw a whole bunch of children in the middle of this agricultural wasteland? You know, it's kind of bizarre, but it is.
And the schools.
Yeah, there's a school district. We're probably giving away right where we live, but yeah, big ass school district right in the middle of all this ag land. Lovely. Yeah, it's interesting how they do that, and it is, man. Bake's right. It's all like investment owned. You know, the investment company owned originally bought it all, and we seem to have a housing crisis in Michigan, but there are brand new subdivisions and HOAs popping up everywhere. So I think the words are affordable housing is what the issues really are, because these brand new homes, new constructions are $250,000, more than $250,000, almost $500,000, almost no matter where they are. It's wild. It's like definitely not the old days of finding yourself a $150,000 brand new house just within the last couple decades, you know. Pretty wild.
It's really wild how that dynamics changed to where, you know, a lot of the older generations like to say, what's your problem? Just get a job and, you know, go buy a house and you're fine. And it's like, yeah, you could do that back in your day. That was possible. That was possible for you.
Well, there were times, you know,
it's like good luck with the wages that you're getting.
Yeah.
The cost of everything.
Well, I figured it out. When we were talking about percentages of, you know, interest and all that else, was it cost of living goes up, inflation is on average it's like 3%, right? This last year we saw like an 8%, which is pretty wild, but on average it's like 3%. That one year that I got that raise, I realized it was a 1% raise. I got a 1% raise, so I actually made less money the following year. You know,
what's the opposite of a raise?
yeah
That's what that was.
That was it. And then I realized that when
there
I
you go.
worked
Thank you.
as a manager for my last job, I didn't get a raise. I never got a raise. Years would go by. I worked there for 3 or 4 years before I even got a raise. I can't imagine how much less I was making by year 4 after 3, 6, 9, 12% inflation, over that amount.
Traditionally, the best way to get a raise is to change jobs.
Yeah, you're absolutely no shit, dude. And that's eventually what I ended up doing. But again, because I'm so stubborn, I didn't do it on my own will. I had to get fired or kicked out of.
I want to reiterate that if you're not getting a raise that exceeds the level of inflation, you are getting a pay cut. If you are not getting a raise that exceeds the level of inflation, you are getting a pay cut. That means if you're not getting an average of at least 3% every year, you are getting a pay cut. Don't settle for that. And like Russ just mentioned, it's not vertical movements within the same company that create value within yourself. It's lateral movements amongst other companies. And I hate to say that because it sucks. It should be that a company is willing to pay you your value to keep you there, because it is more costly to hire a new employee than it is to keep the same one. But most companies don't think in the long term, unfortunately, especially as they become bigger. But hey, guys, cheers.
Cheers for rolling.
Sorry I'm late.
Cheers.
Welcome to Late Sesh.
Just
Way
late
to
to the
bum me
late sesh.
Told me out about every raise I've ever gotten.
Yeah, and like Red said, it was 8.9% or something last year over year. So if you didn't get basically a 10% raise, yeah, you're getting paid less this year, guys.
You're getting paid less this year.
The issue is that small companies aren't getting that extra every year. They're not getting a 12%.
Well, and do you think big companies are passing that through to their employees? You know what I mean? Like the money they're making, they're definitely not.
Yeah.
And they're passing any expenses they get, they're passing that onto the consumer. It's not like they're just internalizing those costs or anything. It's just
prices go up for sure.
Yeah.
When I worked in retail, one of the big tricks was, and we would see prices inflate, at least quarterly. It was something that would happen quarterly. What they would do is they would put items on sale when they would increase the price. So let's say something went up 40 cents, whatever product went up 40 cents. Well, it would go on sale for what the price was the month before. So it'd be like, oh, this product's on sale for the same price that it actually costs the previous month, because they inflated the price 40%. They kept it as a markdown. And then the next month they would take it off sale and they'd be like, oh, this isn't on sale anymore. And that's how
the normal price. Yeah, that's the fun thing is watching. I mean, the beautiful thing is nowadays we have like trackers and stuff, these websites that will track prices and whatnot. And one of them is dedicated to Amazon. And so you can track the Amazon prices of a certain product as it, fluctuates throughout the year or whatever, year over year. And you'll see those Black Friday deals aren't actually, or Prime Day, even Prime Day deals aren't actually Prime Day deals. not at all.
Yeah, it's
for the most part. I mean, I'm sure there's
some sort of inflation and the marketing techniques on a lot of that stuff. And I mean, yeah, companies are going to work with, remember, what was it, Mr. Allen's like
29 or 250,
2 for 50. It is just like 29 250. Yeah,
dude, I literally say that weekly. Still, I said it probably twice this weekend.
More shoes, more frequency. I mean, we there should be a sliding scale, for a lot of stuff. The more you buy, the less it should be, to the consumer. So, but then
I'll show you some hash before I dig into it. It's a fresh jar, Clement Lime, one of my last ones.
Yummy.
That looks yummy.
It does look yummy. It's got a good consistency.
I got to have some lime skunk and Clement Lime from Blue Kiss this last weekend, and it was amazing.
I was waiting for it to just flop onto the camera lens.
Dude, there's a handful of I actually found one, like a solid quarter-gram sized diamond behind my monitor, I guess, the other a week or two ago. I was just kind of cleaning the stuff. Oh fuck yeah, I did.
Hell yeah.
Well, I was bankrupt 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Probably even more potent.
That was like gold, dude.
You never bankrupt. You can still go through the beard. You might be able to find something.
I just might, if I get lucky.
We were almost bankrupt, and I had to send old Nuttree here to for a Jackson run. Had to get us a little trichome forage.
Oh yeah, some triple burger.
Yeah, I was watching that
Muted.
the show last night.
Yes, it's so good. Both are great. Both are great.
The rosin seems to be like curing. I feel like because I left open a jar the other night, and then I was just like, "What? Why am I smelling triple burger?" And then it was because I left the jar in front of me, and that didn't happen like the first couple of days. So
Really
that's
smells
nice.
good.
Yep.
Fucks me up, so I'm really happy with it. Makes me sleepy. I've been
Oh my
I've been
gosh.
doing a lot of sleeping. So between I think the triple burger and the government oasis and fatso, I've really been like sleepy.
I do think that government
good.
oasis is a good one. I
I
don't
do
know if
too.
it was just because it was different and it hit me extra hard, but that's one that we need to run again for sure, baked. And
I
maybe
feel
just
like the fatso's got like more like GMO smell coming from it, but the government oasis is more like bag of peely, which that doesn't matter to me. But it's got a better all around high for me that seems
right, me
to
too.
really like do everything I kind of need. My eating things, my sleeping things. It's really good for me to wake up in the morning and hit some of that. So please keep some of that. Please.
Yep.
Baked, you get your what's the word? Your pipes laid.
Pipes.
Yeah, he got those
Yeah.
pipes laid. Yeah, he did.
I
They
saw
were
a picture of
finished
that.
before I left for work today.
Oh wow,
I
nice.
couldn't believe that.
Well, they
He
showed up at like
texted me quickly.
7:30.
I'm
I knew they were gonna do this.
I was
I
like,
was
"Damn, they're working."
shitting.
I was like, damn, they work in they work on the weekend.
Yeah.
He's like, no,
Taking your morning dump.
Dude, I got up a little extra early. I was like, I'm gonna get up early so I can do my stuff, and then I can go let them in the garage. And nope, I heard it. I heard beep, beep, beep. I'm like, the fuck do I hear? A truck? Oh, they're here, and they were. So, but they got it done before I left.
God
for
bless
work.
contractors. Some of them, I mean, some of them are real go-getters. I've had some show up at like 11 o'clock noon and they don't have a job beforehand. That's just the time they get to work, And I've had some that
Yeah.
show up, like you're saying, 7:30 in the morning in the winter before I can even plow my driveway. And it's like, guys, you didn't call. You didn't tell me you were coming. I don't know what to tell you. Good luck driving through 6 inches of snow. Like, give me a minute, I guess.
Yeah.
We had our roof redone last year, like a little over a year ago, and it was like fucking 5:30 in the morning, 5 in the morning. We hear fucking people walking around on the roof. Boom, boom, boom. They're already. I wake up, dude. We get out of bed at like it's like I was way early. It was like 6:37. I go outside and they already had the whole roof stripped. I'm like, what the?
Wow.
These guys make fast work. There's like 12 people up there working, but they make fucking fast work. There's shit everywhere. You know what I mean? Whatever.
It's the same thing. Roofers, they were showing up at 7 o'clock and 6 inches of snow on it. Like, I think it was on a Sunday on like New Year's Day. I don't like something crazy like that. Just like, I don't know what you guys are doing, but I guess you got to make that money.
Yeah. And roofing's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I got pipes in there.
So you're running water, you're running fiber, anything else?
It's not cooked to the plumbing yet.
I gotta get the plumber out now and hook it to the main line.
But well, the pipes are ran though, like the connection.
Oh yeah, the pipes. Yeah, and then there's a conduit with. They didn't put, or they got conduit that comes with pool rope. So that's a thing. So pool rope is like.
Are you saying
you
pole?
would?
You saying
Pole.
pole or pool?
P-U-L-L.
Okay, pole.
All right. Now say
sounds
pool,
like
like you're
pool,
swimming.
Like P-O-L-L.
Pool.
Yeah, so
I'll say pole.
P-O-O-L.
Pole.
Pool.
It's very subtle. Pole.
It's
pole.
not as subtle as you might think.
Pole. Okay.
Anyways, you're pulling rope.
Don't go to Pennsylvania.
Better than pushing.
Don't go to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's how they say that stuff. Like water. Can you get some water? No, so it's already ran. It's got a 1-inch conduit with pool rope in it, so I can just because the fiber was gonna take a little bit because they have to make it since it's pre-terminated.
So you don't even have fiber yet. Okay, now I understand.
No, because since it was never gonna make it in time for them anyways. I bought my own pool rope and then when I told him
pool rope. Sorry,
it's I don't know what pool rope is,
Me
but
either.
I don't either. That's why I keep
I'm
asking.
confused.
maybe a pool noodle. But so they said nope, the conduit already has it installed in it. This is just PEX conduit. It's like orange PEX and then the water's blue. But yeah, so I'll get the fiber later, run that through there, get some internets out there. But now I gotta grab a RO unit and some new filters for that.
What do you mean? Oh, for you can put a different RO out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to snag one of the old Mitten Candle ones because they're kind of big.
Oh, hell yeah. The
You know, they're
Gronomics.
like the Stealth ROs, but they're like one step bigger.
Yeah.
I forget. I think a Hydrologic. No,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Gronomics.
150 or maybe 300 gallons a day or something.
No, they're more than that.
Gronomics. GRO.
Aeronomics.
MIX
I'll
or
pull
something
it
like
up. Yeah, that's what it is. They're huge, but like right now I'm running out of water because my membrane's starting to give out. So you can tell my drip isn't. It's not.
Oh,
You
shit.
know. And so like today I almost didn't have enough water, so I ordered a new membrane immediately. But yeah, that's unacceptable. That's 30 gal res here I'm going through now in a day
Mm-hmm.
between the rooms I got. So I gotta get something bigger.
Yeah, if you're well, okay. So what RO system you have, and is it just a membrane?
I just have
that
a
needs your
Stealth
pump?
RO 150, so I guess
Yeah,
I could get a 350, but why not when I can get it for the same price? I can probably talk my boss into one of these.
Well, yes, but a 150 is more than enough for what
Like
you
one of
got.
these. We got some that look like this, some that look like this. So I'm gonna see if I can grab one. I know one that looks like that.
Like once a year or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Then I want, yeah. It's like water on demand is really nice. So I don't know. We'll see. But these also require a booster pump. See?
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm not seeing the. I mean, unless you're getting this for free or extremely reduced costs, I don't see the need for something like that. for
It
what
might
you
be
guys have.
extremely reduced.
Yeah.
And listen. I know that
If-
you guys are doing that for almost everything you do, and I appreciate that. Your freezer is way too fucking big, but guess what? You can fill it up, and you can have plenty of material to wash.
Wait a minute, Bake. Did you hear what Fergroli just said? Did you
What
hear
he said?
He doesn't think we can fill that freezer, is what I just heard him.
No.
say.
I did not say that. I did not say. I said you
I just
can fill
heard
it up.
Fergroli say he doesn't think we can fill that.
Rewind it. I literally said you can fill it up, and that's okay. I believe those were my exact words. But that's a giant fucking freezer.
Let's
I'm just
fill
saying.
that with.
Look at this. Look at this one though. If I could find this at work. Don't worry about the price. Imagine I just found it on the truck or whatever.
For sure.
But
yeah.
42 gallons per hour. That'd be pretty nice. And this doesn't need the booster. It's just giant membrane. Look how
Yeah,
big that membrane
How
is.
much does that membrane cost to replace? $500-$600?
Maybe, but if I only have to do it once every 2 years for my operation.
Look. Did you see what the ratio was? 1-to-1.
1 to
That
1.
That is efficient as fuck for an RO.
Oh wow, yeah. Because normal ROs are like, let's
What's
see
a
what a
stealth
stealth.
RO?
Yeah,
'Cause you have
stealth.
you have options.
Probably
You can-
1
I
to
think it's-
3.
Well, I think
Probably
it's
1 to
2-to-1
3.
or 1-to-1.
It's really bad. It's 2 to 1.
Oh,
But
2.
that's
But
yeah.
I think there's an option though. There's like a buy.
There is an option, but it makes it slower. It's a restrictor. So it basically slows everything down.
But it becomes more efficient. So it's
But then it goes to 1 to 1. Yeah, but right now I'm having a time issue.
But
So
that's
I'm
because
definitely
your
not going to
membrane's bad,
restrict.
dude. It has nothing to do with your filters or the quality of you should be getting 150 gallons a day out of the thing. Let's call
That's
it
true.
100
That's
gallons a
true.
day.
That's true. It is a membrane issue, but
All I'm saying is I have the same equipment. I've gone through
I'm also
the same issue. I'm on well, and I use a UV filter to deal with that as well. But the only issue I've had where it was drip, 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 I'm not getting enough water is because my membrane needed to be replaced, and because it had been 2-3 years. So I replaced the thing, and the next day I've got we think 110 gallons in one day.
what? Wait, what? You have a stealth?
Stealth RO. No, hold
There's
on.
150 and 300. Oh,
Is it a
and you
small
only
boy?
replace your membrane a couple of years. I
2
replace
to
my
3 years.
membrane every 6 to 8 months. But I have shitty water. I forgot.
I mean, I'm
I
on
got
well,
like
dude.
300 ppm.
Oh, well, granted, I think
No, like when I
Yeah,
talk
my
to the
my
water
water's being
softener
treated.
guys, they go, "You gotta get a special one for your township because it's full of it's like it's 300 ppms and it's like 200 ppms
You're
of
you're on well
iron.
too.
No, it's city.
You have a softener on city water?
Yep.
Damn, dude, that is really
Yep.
shitty water. Holy crap!
Yeah, you wouldn't believe the number of people on city water in this country that have a softener. Our water system
Damn.
infrastructure is trash from the north to the south.
That's
It's kind of
disappointing.
scary. Yeah, it's disappointing and scary, but
I guess pretty much almost my entire adult life since I've been on my own almost the entire time I've been treating my own water. So it's I guess
yeah,
I'm not too familiar with like city to city. Mostly I've been on well or I've been treating it just because I'm growing or whatever. But I don't think I've ever seen over maybe 200 ppms or so, and like from the tap that was city water.
yeah.
I drank tap water my entire life up until like last year.
Yeah, but I'd like to know the difference in ppm on average, like when I was 10 versus now. Like, cause it's all. You gotta think of the waste management
All
system
the
in
way
this
around.
country is literally the same as our RO filters on a mega scale. That waste management plant in your town is just a giant fucking RO filter. I mean, of different designs. Like it's just filter after filter. So I gotta imagine those things wear out, get worse and worse and worse until we're gonna hit a point where they're gonna have to either rehaul or everything's gonna crash. But I think that's what I'm saying. I think when I was younger, the water was a lot better. We used to drink out of hoses and stuff, but I don't know if I would now. I
We're
definitely
young,
wouldn't
dude.
here.
Dude, we're young, man. Like the shit that kills you sets in when you're older.
Yeah, that's true.
Like it takes a long time for those phthalates and shit to.
Hey, I'm older now.
Either way.
Don't forget us elders
Yeah,
here.
we're all getting older, Red. Like,
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, man.
But I still would drink out of a hose.
That's how beer got started. They were trying to save the water, weren't they? They were trying to like bottle water, and it got fermented or whatever. And
Now you got nasty shit in a glass. Yay.
yeah, I
What's
think it
everybody
was
smoking on?
something along those lines. It was like, they couldn't, they didn't have access to clean water, so they ended up having to make booze out of it just
Something
to clean
like
it
that.
or something. Yeah, I don't know, something wild.
Yeah.
And I think at one point in our human civilization, we were drinking more alcohol than we were water.
Yeah, because you knew it was safe. You didn't have to guess.
That's what it was. Yeah, it's crazy to think about. Because now, I mean, yeah, we're all guessing, dude. A lot of people buying bottled water. People in the city of Flint can't trust their own resources. Like
We're still fucking blessed by most standards of.
oh yeah, from
Yeah,
country to
yeah.
country for sure.
Let's not cry too hard about it.
But I mean, it is the best option is to treat it in your own home before it goes on your body or in your body, and that's what we've tried to tackle here, whether it be for our plants or for our own, and anything from going into my own body to maybe something like a baby bottle, right? Like you don't know what's in that, and you want to certainly, if you can afford to get it tested and treat it,
And be careful, don't go the other way. If you have RO water, it's not good for you to drink that. It strips your body of minerals. So if you're drinking RO water, at least add, like, if you have salt, in your cabinet, put a little salt in there, get a little mineral.
Do you know if a water softener is that technically adding salt, right?
Salt. Yeah, that adds
Yeah.
salt, so you get mineral back.
I wonder if that in combination with a reverse osmosis would kind of take care of that issue or not. And I know that actually,
I don't know. I know that for a fact that the city does not consider RO water drinkable because working at Mitten Canico, they made us mark every
Non-potable.
one of our reses, anything with fucking water in it is not potable. We're feeding it to the plant, but it's not.
but it's not potable.
Water is like ultimately the complete opposite is hydrophobic. So it's like so saturated with water that it pulls minerals out of anything that it touches. You know what I mean? Including your internal organs. So if you drink RO water, it wants to be mineralized. It needs to be like saturated with other things.
Hey, Red. This is a perfect example of water being a solvent,
Water is a solvent,
and it will break down those salts, and it will carry it with him. You know,
Water is the universal
It will
solvent.
solubilize what is water soluble, and that's going to be most of the minerals that you have floating around your body. So yeah, it'll actually dehydrate you. Unless you have something else already bonded to it, which is nice to put a little bit of salt in your water, but it also can help carry the water oxygen molecules into your bloodstream as well, which is a different story, but that's a similar but different story. Part of
atom bonding or something along those lines.
Being different charges of ions.
Molecular bonding maybe is a better way to
Not
so much at the atomic level.
Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff that is way smarter verbiage than I should be spitting out. So
yeah, no, don't listen to me. I'll just start spewing words that sound like they're right, but if you're smarter than me, they're not going to make any sense.
I see a couple different kinds of salt in chat. Sea salt, pink Himalayan salt. I've seen.
I heard that's bullshit.
Yeah, Becca, what's the deal with pink Himalayan?
It's like doesn't have any magnesium or something to it, or
I don't know.
like there's no actual nutritional value or something. I don't know.
It's there's something like that.
It's good for your skin, but it's like doesn't
be dyed. Yeah, there's some, but then there's sea salt's a good one if you can, avoid again heavy metals and stuff. It's probably gonna depend, but like there are currently fresh lakes, Salt Lake City area. Inland Salt Reserve, which is in Utah, that has Redmond's Salt is one of the salt companies that you can get a unrefined mineral salt from, which is good for cooking, good for fermenting, good for a lot of things. And then there's the Michigan-based Morton Salt Company, which is a heavy processing refinery, which you will get the white bleached salt. But again, another American salt choice. My great grandmother, used to.
You can get the iodized salt, so you get your iodine in.
Oh yeah, don't forget your iodine. That sounds. I don't know.
Real quick on this topic before we get off it, did you know that the Dead Sea is one of the largest producers of sodium chloride and I think bromine and maybe a couple other, and they basically have these giant vats, like giant pools, and they are just evaporating the water en masse to collect the minerals from that sea. And they're doing this at such a large production that it is the main source of those minerals around the world is from essentially evaporating seawater. I thought that was kind of cool.
You think over time that will change the
I think it's in such high levels that it won't happen in our lifetime, but sure, if we kept doing it, I think that naturally we'll find other sources or alternative minerals or what have you. If it's just like it's kind of the way the economy goes. Like if things are pushed in a certain direction, we'll just go in that direction. But currently, I mean, at the rate we're going, I have no idea how long that would take. But
tide pools. My great grandmother used to walk these stone beaches in Malta, which is a big slab of limestone in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, and like the tide would go out. And the
No.
Tide pools would dry.
Tide's not going out. You're coming in.
All right. So the
I saw a recent video.
Bit taller.
The water never moves.
It's all perspective, man. The moon phases.
No science. The water never moves, but the Earth is spinning, and because the water's not in a perfect circle, you're spinning into the peak of the elliptic, and then out of it.
In other news,
but to us, it looks like it's coming and going, but we're actually coming and going.
is this a flat Earth theory kind of?
No, this is
video?
called a physicist with multiple degrees, and he explained it. What's his name?
Does he have people backing his claims?
Named Neil.
Yeah, Neil deGrasse.
Degrassi.
Whatever his
Very
name is.
Degrassi.
Tyson. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, that's it.
That
But
dude's
yeah.
doctored. That's
I don't know if he has. I
Oh.
think we can question. We should look this up because I think we
Yes.
can put into question
Okay.
his education.
he's
I
a
don't think he
CIA.
has
He's
multiple
a-
degrees, and I
I'm
don't
not
think
gonna.
he's actually educated in what he's trying to educate you in.
his
I'm not.
entire-
I'm not.
But that doesn't mean you
I'm
can't
not
get
going to put into
educated.
question his education because I'm not educated in horticulture, but I think I can grow some cannabis.
Yeah,
I mean, I think you're
that's
definitely
my point.
educated in it. Maybe not formally educated, but
Then you would have to say, you can't say that about Neil deGrasse.
well, you said he has multiple degrees in.
Pretty
physics
sure he
or
has
something.
multiple degrees. I didn't say in physics. I
what?
said he has multiple degrees. And
All right,
anybody
well, just 'cause
achieving
you have
multiple high
degrees doesn't
degrees.
mean you're smart in something, you know.
Science. Science.
No, but when you're kind of a source on it and get invited to all kinds of events on
Well, just
science.
because the media pushes you into.
I don't
something
get
doesn't mean
invited.
that's
Nobody on this panel gets invited.
I'm definitely not getting invited.
So Neil
also
not
deGrasse
claiming to have
Tyson is
multiple
a
degrees or be an expert.
astrophysicist as a job. That's his job, an astrophysicist.
Yeah,
I'm
he
gonna
still
wager-
don't know his
As a-
education.
I'm going to wager he's got some education.
Allegedly.
Why do you need that?
He
Well,
was on-
Okay,
Russ
how about
just
this?
said.
How about this? How about this? He
Russ
studied
doesn't
at.
have an education in horticulture yet. You just said he's educated.
Okay,
Yeah, I
hold on,
said he
listen.
doesn't have a formal education. In it, yet
Listen,
he's certainly
He
educated. in it.
studied at Harvard University, the
Studied,
University
but does
of
he have a
Texas-
degree?
The University of Texas at Austin, and Columbia University from
Hold on.
91 to
Does
94.
he have degrees,
USA.
or did he just study there? Because you could get kicked out of a college. You know what I'm saying? Like,
He was
Education.
You could give up.
He has a
postdoctoral
bachelor's
research
from
associate.
Harvard. He
Those
has
are
an MA
all
from
colleges
University of
that he was doing
Texas. He has
different CIA
an MPhil from Columbia and a PhD from Columbia.
in what?
Awards: NASA Distinguished Public
I'm looking at
Service.
Wikipedia too, dude. But in what? What is his
Probably
PhD
something
in?
related to science.
I rest my
find out.
case on the
Let's
science.
find out.
I rest it. It's rested right there in front of you.
The
all.
U.S. National Academy of Science awarded Tyson the Public Welfare Medal. I don't think the U.S. National, unless you just are like, oh, it's government related. Right now, I don't like the government, therefore I don't believe it. But 4 years, I might. Like that's not how it works. You either respect the authorities or don't.
The laws of academia sit right up there with the Oregon Trail with the PSYOP list in my eyes. So
Yeah, but see, yeah, that's why it's like, yeah. Well, then there's, no point. Next
No,
subject.
I just really love pushing back on Neil deGrasse Tyson. I don't know why. I actually really used to like him. I don't anymore, but I don't know why. I really don't have the reason.
Yeah, so.
I don't like your face.
So, anyways, my
he would
point
argue with you
stands.
about cannabis, something that he knows.
Still
about.
haven't told me where his PhD is from, but yeah, your point
He would
stands.
argue.
Columbia. It's from Columbia.
But
We did
in
say that.
what, dude? In what?
You just said where it's from. I just told you.
In geography,
Let
in
me
underwater
actually-
basket. You don't have to look it up. I'm just.
I'm going to now. Just to get the education out there.
I think it was in astrophysics.
While he's looking that up, Tara just threw it in chat. But,
Majored in physics at Harvard, master's degree in astronomy from the Texas. Then he got a PhD in astrophysicist from
Yep.
Columbia.
What does that even mean?
Does that qualify?
What is
Should we
that?
move on to like,
Who does
Who-
astrophysics?
isn't the wheelchair guy dead?
yeah,
Isn't, like,
Oh my god.
Oh gosh, the weird.
or do we have to find something not on camera? That's what I'll do.
All he does is
before-
I'm
explain
going to Jackson
how to use
College
the
tomorrow. And I'm gonna find a professor.
like this is how physics works, and he just like
I love physics.
subject.
Physics you can replicate. You can actually do it. You can do it in math, and then you can actually.
Did
Like,
you,
that
this
did
is
you,
how water
I-
towers.
I
work.
just want to know if you scrolled all the way to the bottom of his
That was
Wikipedia. We don't have to
No.
discuss his personal life, but
go to what Wikipedia? Hold on, we gotta go to Wikipedia now. This is
that's
the
where we're
sexy-
getting all this info, right?
Okay, well, while
I'm
you
not-
guys are going to
I
No.
got
Wikipedia,
Wikipedia on my
let's
source.
talk
I got
about
his degree info from somewhere
voting
else.
day.
But I will say 90% of my sources come from Bard.
Bard.
So everybody, there's a voting day tomorrow, and issue 2 is up, and I'm hoping
Yes, thank
everybody will join in on the voting yes for issue 2.
For all those
In
Ohio,
Ohio,
All
no,
of those
Michigan.
Ohioans.
yes, so
We're
tell
not
them
voting for shit
great.
tomorrow.
The OBGS.
If you know
for
any
the
friends that live in Ohio, tell them to go out and vote for yes on issue 2.
Yeah.
Tell us
Yes,
about it. What
yes
is
on
issue 2,
2.
and why are we
Issue
voting
2
yes?
Is yes
Legalizing
for
cannabis to grow at home.
marijuana, cannabis legal,
Recreational, yes, and
in
it would
Ohio.
give Ohioans the right to grow
We'll be able to have 6 plants per
person per household.
person per household. So it would be like 12 of it. We would be able to have 12 between the two of us.
Which, I was just grateful for a couple. So I just want to be able to grow, people to be able to grow what they want to do in Ohio. And there are so many people I feel like that can do so much good and growing your own home medicine. So it just really would be good for people to get out there while you're out there already voting for your issues tomorrow. For yes on issue 2.
It's still a big stigma here in Ohio. I feel like, just go across the border in Michigan and it's a whole nother country. Like you can feel like you're safe and you can smoke and it's a whole different stigma still in Ohio. And it'd be nice to join up with Michigan and not have to go across the border and get good medical weed, or medical cannabis, and be able to get it from a good home grower and have a home grow situation too, where we can maybe have some.
Obviously we're not getting caregiver situation, but that would be even better. But just to be able to do a home grow is tremendous, I feel. So, tomorrow everybody get out there, vote on issue 2. Yes, I hope.
Definitely.
Weeds in the juice kill me in chat.
Fuck Ohio.
Yeah, I know. Fuck Ohio. But you know what? We need to pass this, because this
Could
is
you
great
imagine
medicine.
if Ohio had
This is
backpack
every state should have this. It's not just Ohio. Yeah, fuck Ohio, but every state should be able to have this right.
I'm in
Like
total
just a
support
stepping
of
stone
Ohio
to-
Backpack Day.
Yeah,
being more federally legal too.
It's just everybody should have the right to have this medicine. This is like, I feel like we're in the Stone Ages if we can't have it. So you have your hands on so many other things of, pharmaceutical drugs and alcohol and other drugs on the street, and they want to say no to this that is something positive and doesn't have yes, it has a stigma of, stoners or lazy butts, but I'm a stoner and I'm one of the most productive people that I know and around me that know me. So I don't know. I hope to break that stigma, and that's why I do what I do.
That's fucking what everybody can do. When people ask me, what can I do to help? What do you mean? Just be a good person and be a stoner. That's all you got to do.
Yeah,
then no, I know a stoner and they're a good person.
I have a friend that is totally not taking any kind of mood stabilizing drugs that she was taking from her doctor for many years, and she's started getting flour from me, and for the past 2 years now she hasn't taken any of that kind of stuff, and she's just been dependent on flour. I've even spoke to her kids and they don't know what's going on, and they're like, man, mom's like different and I don't know what it is, but mom's different. So you know what I'm talking about. So it really is a very great medicine for people if they just give it a chance, and it took a while for my friend to give it a chance. I mean, she was like against it, really against it, like big time. And I was just like, why don't you just try it? What's it going to hurt? You're in your own home, you're safe, just try it. So once she did, it's been a whole different story, and she's got to the point now where I'll give her certain things and I'll tell her certain things about it, and then she'll give me feedback now from it. So it's really turned into, I feel like, a good situation. So,
and I want to be able to walk into work wearing my Fragole Clementine shirt, like people wear Budweiser shirts. I mean, come on. Why can't I wear
you're absolutely
a
right.
weed shirt?
Nope, you're absolutely right. I definitely monitor, and I do curb what I wear in certain places just because like I want to be respectful, obviously my Eat a Bag of Dicks sweatshirt, I try not to wear when I know I'm going to be out in public around children, because I don't want kids to be like, Mom, what's dicks? So, because you know how kids are. So I do try to be respectful, and I do try to keep like my cannabis, merch to a limited bunch, but it would be nice to be able to wear our stuff and not feel like I can't do that. So it would be really nice.
And I think Troy brought up a great point. Like you can wear an alcohol shirt even around kids and not feel bad about it.
Yeah, you go into Target and they're promoting moms and drinking alcohol, drinking moms or something, and it like boils me up to no return. I'm like, why are they promoting
this?
To
have some wine. Cool to have some wine because
mom can't drive you home if she's been, drinking.
I'm not saying don't drink wine or whatever. It's just not my thing. But at the same time, don't promote one thing that's like a known alcohol is a known poison. I mean, it's a poison to your body. And cannabis is the direct opposite thing. It's like, how can you shit on cannabis and then promote something that's a poison? Is always.
We just watched a testimony from somebody on the Perma Pastures farm. Shout out to Red Eye Rustler. He gave me a piece of comfrey root. Perma Pastures farm sells comfrey, and that's one of the things. So I actually have a piece of their farm. We got to plant it up. And they had this woman's her name was Callie, and she's from England, and her son for the last 10 years since he was 13 years old, I guess he's 23 now, he had multiple types of cancer in like 2010. And he was not supposed to live as long as he has. And she started putting him on cannabis oil when, he was in hospice. He was in hospice, and they were giving him less than a week to live.
They said like 3 to 7 days.
And she started with some tincture, and it started helping him. And he had absolutely no immune system, no bone marrow left, like it was really, really bad. And the cannabis oil started helping to the point to where he like felt better and was getting better, but mentally he wasn't okay. And he was still wanting to die. And like he stopped eating and stuff like that, and was forcefully stopping to eat. And at this time he was only like 13, 14 years old. And she went to Spain, met up with a caregiver in Spain who gave her some crude, some full RSO. And she took the tincture and replaced it with the crude oil. And after like 1 or 2 doses, he started eating again. And his life completely turned around. And the testimony goes up till today. He's alive, doing well, doing great. Takes the oil all the time. And this testimony was on a channel that's a little bit more of a permaculture homesteading channel. It's not a cannabis channel. And typically in the homesteading permaculture network, right, it seems to favor a lot of the people who kind of like comment on that stuff. It is more of not entirely, but more of a like Christian and or even far right wing leaning crowd, not so much centralized, but and you're seeing a part of it. And so what you're seeing is like a very much centralized approach, not centralized in the way that's like economy, but like central politically speaking approach to the idea of cannabis as medicine. You're seeing this on this homesteading channel, and they swing a little further right than most people that are on the internet and stuff, and they'll talk about certain topics and things like that. And then to have a cannabis thing on there I just thought was amazing, because they're going to influence all of these other people with this testimony. You just cannot deny this woman's testimony. You know, there's no way you could say, oh, your kid should be dead. You just can't say that to somebody. And if you are, fuck off, you know, like, fuck off. That's terrible. You know, there's nothing Christian about that. And anything good about any of that, right? So, or whatever your religion is, you know. And so you get this empathy, right, with this testimony. But now I love RSO. It is amazing. And I have dozens and we collectively, Becca's, and this isn't just me tooting the horn, Becca experiences every one of these where people are using cannabis oil to save their lives. You know what I mean? Like it's just, the cat's really been ripped out of the bag at this
I
point.
have dozens of emails I could show you right now, but I don't have
Exactly.
permission. I don't have permission, so I'm not going to. But
Right.
yeah, for sure. There's no doubt about it in my mind whatsoever.
And one of our big goals, you know, with bringing on the Rosemary's Oasis YouTube channel, shout out that we just dropped another video, a couple in the last week, so please go check that out. But we really want to bridge the gap. So one of our first videos is us feeding our chickens cannabis leaves. Another video is, you know, us harvesting stuff, but we have our big cannabis plant there. You know, it's in the background. We're definitely trying to tread lightly with, you know, not getting flagged for certain reasons. We want this channel to, you know, we want to help, and hope the channel helps us in return. And so we really want to like avoid being, you know, shut down by YouTube for whatever reasons. But like at the same time, we do want to discuss some of the ins and outs to the homesteading community, or maybe some of the people that are really into growing and would be great at growing cannabis and good medicine for people, and having more access lines in a legal state like Ohio that now, if, you know, I'm just going to put the positivity out there, they legalize, you know, after tomorrow, and now everybody's able to grow 6 more plants. That's just more of an abundance of growers out there. Let's kill the taboo. You know, it's not fringe anymore. It's a real deal medicine. It helps with I still claim it's not a panacea, right? It's not going to cure at all. It's not going to cure anything, but it sure does bond to our endocannabinoid system. And that whole thing, if you want to talk about cannabinoids in nature, they are everywhere, but cannabis somehow has a ton of them that really, really help the human body. You know,
you have mentioned so many things, Red, and I'm going to fail to remember all of them, but 2 of them, if I can even remember the 2, are bonding the gap between the natural green thumbs that are out there and cannabis. And oh my God, the quality we could get from some of the people out there that really care for their plants, like you and Becca do.
Yeah, dude.
Like Tara and Nutri do. Like Spartan does, like Bake does, like everyone does here. If we could have that from the people that are growing the plants in their backyard, and just throw a cannabis plant or 2 in the mix.
There's a huge movement to grow plants that are organic and that aren't sprayed with anything, and that are like, you know, very.
And think about this. Think about just the fact that people might grow them just for the simple fact of phytoremediation, right? The fact that they could cleanse your soil. You might just be growing some hemp plants in the mix just for the simple, you know, for the soil cleanup, for the fact that you get maybe some rope or some, you know, some use out of those plants. You know,
it cleanses my soil for myself. I mean, it's like therapy. I mean, touching those plants, I mean, does wonders, honestly, for myself. It's way better than any kind of therapy I've ever had in my life. So honestly, I've paid money for therapy, and best thing I've ever done is touch a plant. So
yeah, there's some real there.
It is. There is something very real there. You know, my family's very amazed. They've had my veggies for years and that kind of thing. And now some of my family members have had my flour and are very amazed that, you know, I've done what I've done. But, you know, it's more that I want to showcase the flower. If anything, it's not showcasing myself. I want to showcase that flower and what it can do for its medicinal reasons for everyone. And there are so many different benefits. So it's just me trying to, you know, to show the best thing that the plant is already doing itself. So
that's the difference between us. That's the difference between us and like a commercial tomato grower, right? Like we're going to grow a tomato and we want to see that person eat that. We want to see that person bite into that beefsteak tomato or like slice it up and put it on their hamburger.
No,
and
I
just...
want to eat it. What are you talking about?
Well, some of us want to share the experience, Spartan, but I get it. I get being, you know, a little selfish with it. But hey, one of the things I wanted to bring up too, and I'm thinking of a third one now, but the second one I'll bring up is topicals. You guys talked a lot about RSO, and I've had the same experience with my topical, and I don't have emails. I have a lot of verbal feedback, and I've got a lot of Instagram DMs, but that is certainly one area, if not RSO, that I would push someone into that maybe hasn't tried cannabis before and wants to try it for medicinal reasons, because I have seen people, I mean, gosh, guys, literally hundreds over the last 7 years or 6 or 7 years that people have tried this topical, and it could be anything from fibromyalgia to eczema to hip and joint pains to muscle spasms. I literally talked to someone 3 hours ago that tried it for the first time and was able to play a full soccer game. That, you know, she's like 30, she's my age, right? She's like 35, 30, you know, somewhere in mid 30s probably. Probably shouldn't be aggressively playing soccer, you know what I mean, still at this age, but like we all love what we do, and we tend to...
Wait, what the fuck are you talking about? Not playing soccer? How is that too that is young still? What are you talking about?
Yeah, we some young bucks compared to you, but we our bodies start breaking down, and every once in a while it helps us get through maybe a full soccer game, you know, indoor soccer game or whatever, to rub some of that the topical on our hips, or, you know, throw some of that RSO back before the game or whatever it might be, because we are dealing with these old man and old woman pains that we've, you know, grown into over the decades of life that we've experienced, and that's okay, guys. It's okay to kind of mask that pain temporarily so you can get through what you want to get through. It's just another medicine. It's another way to get through the day. It's another way to get through life, and it's okay to use it. Like, it shouldn't be this thing where it's so stigmatized to the point you can't even talk to your family about it. You know, I've had several family members that have, almost religiously denied, you know, access to cannabis, up until the point that their doctors tell them it's okay. You know,
here's one that, like, doctors will, like, I don't want to touch that one. You know what I mean? Is the fact, like, this is studied, confirmed. Dr. Ethan Russo's got some papers on it. I'm sure there's some papers coming out of Israel specifically with their programs, which include neuroregenesis. And this is a big one. So topically, right? If you can consider THC to be an anti-inflammatory, typically you'll get prescribed a topical, what is it? NSAID, NSAID. Yeah, NS.
Yeah, that sounds right. NSAID.
And so that's basically what your ibuprofen, Aleve, a couple of those. I might be backwards on a couple of those, but like, those are NSAIDs, right? Those are, pain reliever, fever reducers, whatever, anti-inflammatory medication. The thing is cannabis, THC, you can just start with CBD, cannabidiol has, 10 times in anti-inflammation properties as ibuprofen, which is an NSAID, right? Which is going to be similar to an NSAID that they're just going to give you an NSAID to topically put on there, which is just anti-inflammatory properties, right? You get into THC, you're talking an additional like 10 times, or maybe the one's 2x and then 10x. But either way, you're 20 to 100 times greater anti-inflammatory properties. It might be by weight so you might need a lot, to ibuprofen. Well, that's just anti-inflammatory properties compared to NSAID. So you're already doing a better job than a topical. You're already doing a better job than an over-the-counter pain medication, fever reducer, any of those things, just with having THC or CBD alone. Now let's talk about the fact that it bonds to the CB1 and CB2 receptors. So if you got, if you can bond to your CB2 receptor and you're looking for pain, like THC won't bond to CB2. You need CBD, cannabidiol, to bond to CB2. And that's going to be your peripheral, your muscles, your skin, your bones, stuff like that. All of your organs are all going to be wrapped up in your peripheral CB2 receptors. So CBD is going to help great with that topically, if you ingest it, any of that stuff. Now you do the same with the THC. Now central nervous system. Well, what goes off your central nervous system? Fucking all of your nerves, all of your nerve endings, and all of your, again, pain receptors and shit like that. So having a full balance, CBD and THC is going to help those. But what the neuroregenesis is saying is that, say you have damaged nerve endings, you can't feel your hands, whatever, you have arthritis or whatever else is fucking going on. An NSAID is not going to cure your arthritis, whereas maybe arthritis is a bad example because you're talking bone on bone, but you have the effects of arthritis, which would be nerve damage and shit like that, which can be reversed through neuroregenesis, right? So now you have a medication that's actually not just a pain reliever, an anti-inflammatory, but something that's actually fixing and healing, actually doing some healing. And again, if you're eating high amounts of sugar and processed foods, it's kind of like you're climbing a mountain and every 4 steps you're taking a sled back down. You're jumping on the sled of sugar and riding it back down a little bit. You're not going to get there. You know what I mean? You're not going to heal as well. It's not going to work. You're building a wall while you're trying to tear it down. You know what I mean? So diet is most certainly included in this, but you're talking about something that is just, and again, in this woman's testimony, her son had this issue with his hands. The doctors actually severed the nerve endings because he was going to lose his hand. They wanted to amputate his whole hand, but she just said, just sever the nerves. They thought he was going to die. So they just severed the nerves so that he could just have a hand. His hand was withering away to nothing. And over time from the RSO, he could actually start to feel his fingertips again. And the doctors looked at it and the doctors wouldn't touch it. They said, we're not even going to touch it because it's not supposed to happen. You know what I mean? Basically. And what was going on is neuroregenesis causing new neural pathways to now allow him to feel the fingertips in his hands. So could it reroute the effects of effects of aging, the effects of injury or anything like that? I don't know, but the possibilities I think with cannabis are completely endless, super wild. And yeah, topically, I mean, that's the best way to start. I gotta put topical on my shit all the time.
And beyond all that, that's the crazy. My mind always wanders and thinks like the number one thing when I was a caregiver all the way up to now that I almost like guarantee people it will help them with. Like, I don't like to guarantee anything, but like, and it's with sleep. Because if you get to a higher dose, you're going to go to sleep. And just that, having people be able to sleep again is so immensely healing in its own right. And it's attributed to the sleep for sure. But is it the sleep that's doing it, or is it the cannabis that's getting you to sleep? So
yes and yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's both.
Yeah, I think it's both, honestly. Between
Yeah,
that,
'cause-
and you also have to throw in the eating aspect. I mean, cannabis triggers that eating aspect in a lot of people. So you're also promoting that also besides the sleep. And yeah, that's huge.
It can also do the opposite though, Tara. I've lost a lot of weight. I came out of college 280 pounds because I was a collegiate athlete and working out 6 days a week and eating probably 7,000 calories a day or something insane. Like, and to continue that after college had been incredibly unhealthy. But while I was an athlete, I couldn't smoke cannabis because there was potential for drug testing.
Right.
But I found cannabis that helped as an appetite suppressant. And one of the things that my own mother asked me is like, how'd you lose all that weight? It was like 40, 50 pounds or something over the course of, I was probably about 40 pounds over the course of a year and a half or something like that. Which isn't a lot. in that amount of time, but it was for me at the time. And I simply said water, weed, and caffeine. And that's really what it was. It was caffeine was my, I just keep it going drug. Weed was my appetite suppressant because that was the type of cannabis I was smoking. And water was just the fill-in, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And those three things helped me, kind of correct my diet into the fashion I needed it to be for the output I was giving,
Right.
and it helped a lot. And so it's one of those things where it's like you see this list of ailments that cannabis helps, and it's you kind of look at it, and I've showed it again to the same person, my same mother. I've showed her this 3-page list of ailments that it can help, and she kind of laughed, and it's like, but it's for real. Like, it will help that many ailments. It can be an appetite suppressant, but it could also help you eat. It can help you stay awake and get shit done, but it can also help you sleep.
Yeah.
It's like there's that many varietals to the same drug. We just classified it as this one thing.
And I only said CBD and THC, Like, I mean, if you're talking something like CBG, CBC, CBN,
Yes.
all of these, dude, there's 100 and something that exist in a single cultivar. There's like 300 and something, not terpenes, not flavonoids, cannabinoids, like actual CB1, CB2. Well, we know of a few of them that are CB1, CB2 agonists specifically, but who knows what the other cannabinoids, maybe some of them are, like fat based, maybe some of them are water based, some of them are doing all kinds of different things, but who knows what maybe not aspergillus, who knows what botrytis, right? Look at we all run from botrytis, but I guarantee there's a scientist that wants to grow botrytis because there's, look at penicillin, look at like some of these other medicines that come from fungus, that come from pathogenic bacterias. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of them. Most antibiotics that we have today, like look at the reishi mushroom, like its natural antibiotic capabilities, antiviral capabilities. Imagine what kind of antiviral antibiotic capabilities cannabis has wrapped up inside its botrytis that we're just afraid to search out. I mean, maybe somebody's doing the research on it. Maybe it's already been.
Well, if I have an astrophysics degree and I grow botrytis-filled weed, will I be able to create the next penicillin? That's all I want to know.
Maybe.
I'm sorry to detract. You make good points.
Yeah, stop that with Neil deGrasse.
I apologize, Ron. I apologize.
I like him.
I know, I can't stop. I don't know why.
Yeah, dude, I'm seeing in chat. There's THCV. A lot of these you can get as isolates from places. Yeah. It's really interesting.
Okay, here's a good question about isolates.
It's the athlete in you, for Grully. You don't like the nerd, man. You just want to pound him. You just want to pound him.
No, he's a solid dude. He's smart.
What's wrong with Neil, man? He's cool.
I don't know. At some point in my the last 5 years, my brain has flipped because I really did enjoy everything I saw on Netflix or whatever it was.
He probably sold out. That's what sucks. But he told his story on Joe Rogan, and it was pretty interesting. Whatever.
I'm sure.
I got this book. I never read it because I can't understand it. Like, my brain. I really struggle with space, so.
I mean, there's a lot of big words. It's like, that's why I stuck to math and, I say science, but math and like the physics and chemistry side of science, because biology was all Latin. Biology was all made up words, in my opinion, and just things attached to other things. And we're just going to keep adding words and prefixes and suffixes. It's just like, stop. I don't know. Let's just stick to the formulas,
Like
academia, man.
The very first part of this, I start to question, right? Because they talk about what everything was before the Big Bang. And I'm like, and it's like 1/13 or 1/13 trillionth of a period on this page. So like so small, right? And that exploded into everything. Okay, but where was that? Where was that period floating around?
Well, it doesn't matter.
Figured that out yet.
The mass that amount of mass condensed into that amount of
It proved the Big
space
Bang.
created what we have now.
They don't want us to
Let's
challenge
see.
that question.
Well, it's the
They have not-
expansion of
They
mass.
have not proven the Big Bang. That's why it's called the Big Bang
Yeah,
theory.
just
and
like
not the Big Bang
evolution is a
theory.
theory, right? I mean, we see it in
They
real
prove it.
time.
The other internet astrophysicist explains it.
It's just the most popular.
The skinnier looking dude.
I've seen recent argument that
It's just the most popular one they teach to
He
academia.
captured light particles.
The only problem
from the
I
Big
have,
Bang.
the only problem I have in academia is that people take theory as truth and reality, and they take theory, even though it's because it's academia, because it's taught through school and scholarly, whatever, and indoctrinations, whatever. You get these. You get theories, and people take it as truths. And so, rather than there being any kind of creativity to challenge the truths and to experiment further, we just say, no, we're going to start. Most people base their personalities on this shit. You know what I mean? So you can't even have discussions with people on thinking outside of the box, thinking of having like look at Graham Hancock. Graham Hancock can't challenge the academic, even though he has tons of evidence that like push back the human history timeline and all this other stuff. No one wants to because their personality is based in, well, I'm an accredited scholar, and if I disappoint my colleagues, oh boy,
if what you're saying is true, everything I've been saying my whole career is not.
Exactly. And people can't live with that for some reason. The ego is just.
Biggs, can you share the screen I'm sharing? It's the scientific method, and it's pretty simple, people. I don't know why science I don't know why science has gotten so far away from the scientific method.
Oh yeah.
But the simple idea is to, I observe or question something. So we're starting off with, maybe something's not right? Maybe I want to prove something. Okay. So we move on to research the topic area. Okay. So we're digging into it. Maybe we're questioning people. Maybe we're running experiments. Maybe they're peer research. Whatever. Go on to the hypothesis. All right. This is where we're
experiments are way later.
No, you're right. I realized that once I created the hypothesis here. The hypothesis is, all right, formulating the actual experiment, formulating the question, right? So I don't know. Terpinolene is the best terpene in cannabis, and it happens to be the most dominant one for some reason in the haze strain. So I hypothesize that terpinolene is the most dominant strain or the most dominant terpene in haze strains, right? So then we test with some experiments. So maybe we're pulling out, I don't know, the top 100 haze strains off the market, and we take them all to a lab, and we say, hey lab, let me see what these terpene results are. And so now we've done some tests, right? And maybe there's some depth to those tests. Maybe it's something very simple, like not super scientific, something that we can do at home and we're relying on someone else's abilities to, but it's still, we're testing with an experiment, right? We're testing our hypothesis with an experiment. We're actually going out and trying these things. And then we look and we analyze the data, and we actually analyze this data based on like sound reason and like formulas and things that have been created before us to tell us why these exist. Established standards. I like that. That's a good way of saying it. Like confidence intervals. Look that up. That's a good way of establishing an interval, right? Or establishing a certain amount of confidence in what your data says. And then we go ahead and we take all that data, we condense it down maybe a little bit, and we push it into this thing called a report, or like, something boring like a peer-reviewed study or whatever. And we publish it, and we get our names on it, and then we say, hey, look, I'm a published scientist now. Look how cool I am. But like, you've done the science at that point. You've done the scientific method, and that's actual science. Now, this is my fifth grader way of explaining the scientific method. And if you're an actual scientist, you're going to know this a lot better than I. But if you're not taking all these steps, you're not really doing the research, right?
Here's the other part that I have, right? So that is 100% how that it needs to be put out, right?
Well, that's the academic standard.
Right. But then you
want to go by what they say.
You have the peer-reviewed studies, right?
I don't really like that method.
And let's say you chose your population.
We'll see what happens.
you chose your population, right? You chose 100. Okay, you did 100 different testings or whatever. Okay, and this is all in the thing. The thing is the general the general population that's going to read this study isn't educated enough to realize that there's really 10 million different varietals to choose from, and you only picked 100, right? Okay, so let's say that there's
the sample size was shit. Okay, I get it. I chose the wrong sample size. I apologize.
And where I think we get with a lot of our science is that they perform the scientific method, so it passes all of the checks that are the bureaucratic checks. These aren't the checks of peer review at this point. Now we're talking things like the FDA, USDA. They need all these studies. Somebody's making sure that the studies are going as planned, but what are the population sizes that they're actually doing the research on? What other variables, I like the variables word, are they not including? What controls should they be including? And what is whoever's signing off on their work?
That's where the peer-reviewed portion is supposed to come in, and it's supposed to take care of all those little steps along the way and make sure that
when you're talking something new and something breakthrough, nobody knows about it. So what is
we don't have polio really
anymore.
Yeah, but when it's a new one, then it's not a when it's new, it's not a peer-reviewed study because it's the first. But then it can be peer-reviewed.
No, it can be peer-reviewed. And here's the thing, Red. If you actually go in and look at these peer-reviewed studies, it will detail all that information because that's kind of required to be in there.
Yeah, in the method.
Problem is, like Red said, is most of us, the layman, they don't know that. And so we see a headline that is written from some mainstream media, news outlet that maybe has done the research and read the article, but they're also pretty much basing it off the headline. It's just headlines and it's all clickbait. And unless you go in and, you're not doing the research yourself, but you're actually reading the research yourself. You're not. You can't. There's no way to possibly be educated, right?
So that's what we do on here's a cheap plug on the Cheap Home Grow podcast. Growing with my fellow growers. That's what we usually do on our shows is we go through white papers and we break them down.
I think it's so important to just question the things. Like you put stuff in your body. Like I question it. I question who did the research to tell me that these like I know what garlic looks like. I know if I grow it out back and what it looks like, that it's what it says that it is. You know what I mean? Because it just is.
It doesn't say anything on it.
Smells like garlic, tastes like garlic, must be garlic, came from the ground.
So but if you give
me this processed thing in a little package and open it up and the ingredients say garlic like whatever, this, that, and the other, look up the peer reviews on whatever studies that show that these chemicals are good, I'm going to have some questions about those studies. I'm going to have questions.
You're going to go down a 3-week rabbit hole of just finding out what the hell went into that one garlic.
Yeah. And eventually I'm going to conclude
that you should have grown it yourself.
I should have grown this myself. Like this is skewed. You're right. Somebody with an academic profile that doesn't want to be lost in here has given us the goods on this one, and I ain't buying it. You know what I mean? That's where I'm getting out of that. So. And I do like the scientific method, and it is a calculated way to go about something, and it is it has worked for most of our, and I do like the math is one of those things. Math exists, right? Mathematics exists. It's tangible. You know what I mean?
That's why people think we're in a simulation.
Technically, it doesn't exist. We just attach numbers to things. Like numbers don't exist. We made numbers. Without humans, there's no such thing as numbers.
The geometry exists. I don't know, man, because the
shapes exist, yes. But geometry, the mathematics of shapes, no.
The electromagnetic spectrum creates.
You're talking about the world existing.
The electromagnetic spectrum creates mass, and so without humans, there would still be mass.
But mass isn't.
Without
even numbers,
without even consciousness, there would still be electromagnetic impulse, length, and mass. No, EMF creates mass.
What is mass to math?
Mass to math?
Yeah, like we're trying to figure out if math is real. What is math?
I don't know. Ask Einstein. That was E equals MC squared.
What?
Yeah, man.
That's
Mass
where you
is
were
how
going
much
for.
space. Mass is how much space something
What
takes
about
up.
the Fibonacci sequence and all the proportions? That's all broken
Which
down.
comes from
Yeah,
which comes from the
So which existed first?
which comes from sun waves.
The actual like the actual repeating of things, or Fibonacci?
The sequence came first. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like the
sequence.
world came
Numbers
first,
came.
then
We
humans came, and
applied
we went,
numbers.
how do we do this? All right, we're gonna figure out a system,
We
and
applied
it's gonna be
logic.
called math. Yeah.
We applied logic
But
to it.
without us, math doesn't exist. Just like country borders, just
Well,
like money, currency.
the math doesn't exist, but the sequence exists. The mass exists. The wavelengths exist, right? Because if the universe exists, if we assume that the universe,
But all right,
is
humans don't exist. Let's say next up is, let's skip monkeys because that's obvious. But let's just say the next up is like, I don't know, dolphins or bears or something. They're the next up on the evolution after a million years.
Ooh,
Are they coming up
Can
with
they
the
be
same
crabs?
numbers? Are they coming up with the same system?
no,
I
their
don't think
numbers are
dolphins
different.
are
Okay.
ever gonna evolve.
Because and are they gonna call
I
it
don't
math?
think dolphin. I don't
Are
think
they gonna
dolphins
call it
gonna go.
math?
I don't think dolphins are gonna go base 10. I think they're gonna go with a base 8 number system because they don't have. No, probably just the base 2 because
So you're thinking they're going
humans
with the
did 10
numbers?
because they were used to counting their fingers, so they did a base 10. So I wonder. I bet dolphins would do like base 2 because they just got 2 flippers.
I don't know.
That why we do
But
base
I
10?
don't think they're doing math.
What about our toes? We're not counting on our toes.
So the difference in bases is weird. So
Like
like
if you did
I
like
gotta count on my
Red,
toes,
if
so-
you didn't have math, could you and Becca survive? I believe 100%. I believe you could still put your seeds in the soil. You could still water them. You could still eat them. All that stuff. Why without math?
I
Spartan, I
It
think it's
doesn't
more
really exist.
Yeah, but if you're applying spacing to your crops, you're using math.
But what do you mean spacing? Like
You got to
We have
space
to
your
space.
seeds. You got to space your seeds. You got to have your rows. You
you
have.
can just use a stick, man.
Well, yeah, but you're still using math.
so you
No,
what?
you just
No,
eyeball
you're
it.
not. You're
Yeah,
just
it's about this
dropping
far away.
seeds.
Stick.
It's about this far.
You're using a
how
tool.
many sticks? 2
Yeah, it's
sticks,
just using
3
a tool.
sticks, 4.
Just putting
You're
that stick in
attaching
the glass.
man-made math to like happenings.
8 sticks more.
But that stick is a product. Wait, are we still talking about the stick? The stick is.
No, not true. You're fucked up. You said 8 sticks more, not 8 sticks more.
Don't listen to him. He has no idea. Don't.
I went through the numbers. 1 stick,
No
2
numbers.
sticks, 3 sticks more, 4.
Just more sticks till you don't. That's
More?
what. More sticks till you're out of seeds. That's what it is.
You know, when I was always
Okay.
playing outside, I always
You hire a tally
I always
man.
walked it out.
Tally man
I
for that.
no, I would
You
always
need
walk it
bananas
out.
and tallymans.
So I didn't use anything but feet. So
5, 6, 6 sticks, 7 sticks more.
That makes no
Anybody?
sense.
We're playing pickup sticks now.
Pick them up.
You guys want to play pick up sticks? Have some children. They'll just build everything around your house.
don't do everything you don't want
That
to.
is a universal truth. A universal.
What is it with them and just dumping shit?
They just are. They are creatures of chaos.
Yep,
I like that. Creatures of chaos.
it's true.
I was thinking something of anarchy.
You know, you spend all
A-holes
this money
or
on toys for kids, and then really they end up just playing with the damn box that it came in. So it just never fails.
That's the cool part about getting dry ice in boxes is you can make some pretty cool forts when you get like 13 of them in a row.
I did another run of. Speaking of dry ice, I did another run of RSO with the chunked.
The pellets.
It's like
Yeah,
cubes.
I
It's like
love those.
yeah, like you
Oh,
get
they're
out of your
cubes?
fridge.
No, it's not
Like,
a cube.
Oh,
Not
It's
cubes,
not a
but like
cube.
rectangle cubes.
No, it's not. It's like a. It looks like it's a
Never
giant
mind.
piece of macaroni. It's circular.
hold on. I'm gonna get some dry ice.
You
I'll
know
be-
when you put your cup in the fridge and it goes and then dumps out a bunch of cubes if you don't put it on crushed? That's what they kind of look like, pretty much.
Half moons.
I don't know what that is.
Little half
You
moon.
never had a fridge with an ice
Bro, I
dispenser?
did not fucking grow up fancy, man. What do I look
Well,
like?
I have one that doesn't work, but I've had them before. But it's like a half. It's
I'm
almost a
not gonna run a
crescent.
water line for a
It
refrigerator.
looks like it. I'm telling you, it looks like it. But
What the
we're
hell?
gonna argue about everything tonight. So let's see. Cute.
Oscar and Felix.
Man, Fragoli is going for
Odd
a long
couple.
time. His freezer must be a long ways away. He probably has it outside, buried in the ground.
Alright. I got an okay picture of it. This is the kind of ice that's typical out of your most your ice dispensers, unless you guys. You see how it's like a slice, like an orange slice almost.
Yeah, yeah, I'm familiar with that. That doesn't look like
Yeah.
that at all.
It's the closest thing to yours. Yeah,
Nothing like that. It was.
nobody gets tubed ice like that though. You have
It's
to
a hole. There's a
reference
hole
it.
that goes down the middle of it. There's like a hole.
Oh, it's hollow.
Yes.
Oh, that's fucking weird.
They're big.
Yeah, that's similar to what Fragoli's holding up right now.
I would think that
For
would
those
melt
long,
quicker.
long,
It's
thin.
not
Yeah.
hollow though.
I don't want chunks.
Oh, I think mine were hollow.
Yeah. Yours did. I didn't see. Yeah. See, I thought they were chunks. That's why I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
See, like his. Oh.
And how much is that per whatever?
80.
Well, I paid 50 cents per pound, but it can get anywhere from that to $2.59 per pound. You know.
Okay.
You
I
can get
paid
chunks
80
for
something.
free at the factory.
89 cents a pound or something.
Show up
But
on the right day.
I only need to grab like 10 pounds, 12 pounds usually for my
I
runs.
went through 350 pounds last week.
Let's see. So I'm paying like $10 or less.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on.
Yeah. But it gives me a lot of
money,
time. It
man.
gives me like a half hour. So it's like instead of sitting there watching the machine the whole time, I get like a half hour where I can actually step away.
So the old pellets.
The old one was
whatever,
probably I never timed
15
it.
minutes
But
or something.
the old one I never timed it, but I would say about 15 probably. 15 to 20. Somewhere in that neighborhood.
What he's talking about, people, is he has to run downstairs and check on the dry ice because the dry ice depletes when he's running RSO.
Yeah, so when you're
don't want it to run
capturing
out.
in a closed loop situation where you're capturing the gas alcohol, the alcohol is turned into a gas.
Wind erosion.
Yeah, you condense it with cold. So it's just in my system, it's just literally a glass tube that you can put dry ice in. It's got another container of glass, and all of that gas just condenses on that glass and drips down. So it's
Found
pretty
it.
cool. So the faster that you're reclaiming the alcohol, the faster you're going to have to replace that dry ice because it's just a temperature exchange.
Here's an interesting one. This one's more like yours.
Yeah, that one right there is more like mine.
So you see how he has this top like a jar, and you just pop that off. This is a tube you can fill up with dry ice.
Yep.
And it's separated from this container, which is actually under pressure the whole time, but it's got alcohol gas.
Yep.
And then when it touches this, because it's what is dry ice, like 0 degrees or something.
Way below zero. It's cold.
Yeah. So when it touches that, it actually condenses, and what falls down one of these or something.
Straight down.
Oh yeah, that one.
And
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
there you go.
So it'll
And
condense.
you reclaim it in that.
You get it
Oh,
back
that reclaim
here.
it doesn't even have a down. It doesn't even have a drain. Oh, that would suck. You'd have to stop and turn and depressurize and empty it every time. Yuck.
Yeah, that's yeah. But
But that's fine. You could just buy that glass piece.
they got little tiny ones too. Look at that.
Oh wow,
Yeah, home grow.
that'd be a really small run.
Look at that. There's yours, kind of with that.
That looks way close to what I've got. Yeah.
I
Fine.
mean,
Yeah.
obviously, we
Yeah,
got to share the Fragoli YouTube video again, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, there's the. Let's see. All right. So there's the alcohol condensing in a very rapid motion. What are we doing? Decarbing, I think, at this
I
point.
was gonna say this looks like we're in a vacuum oven.
That's the whole setup. So
What's
control
this thing
unit.
on the right?
That one?
Yeah, the one on the right.
Oh, that's for distilling. That's a distillation unit.
Oh, okay. Never seen that.
Sorry, Spartan. We're in the U of M gear.
Oh, you should apologize for that.
I mean, nowadays though.
Apologies accepted.
There was a time where I assumed I would run into you at the Meijer out here in Ann Arbor, Ipsy, because I figured I was like, hey, wearing a U of M shirt. For some reason, I think he's in Ann Arbor.
You're not far off.
That's why I ended up hearing. I was like, damn, if I would have went to the other Meijer, I probably
He's
would
got the green gloves at least. He's got the green gloves.
Yeah, green gloves back in the day.
Oh, he had the water cool.
That's your
He had the
vacuum.
water cool. That's what you
Yeah,
got.
it's a water aspirator. Is what that's called.
Oh, you're using the pump. Okay, I just use that pump, but I don't use it to hook to that. I just use it to pull vacuum.
So the water aspirator pulls a vacuum. This is what this does, and it uses the cold water essentially in combination to pull a vac. I don't think it's on right now.
No, it doesn't.
Go ahead and watch the video. But just throw some. You can throw like chiller liquid, and I think in there. I don't know. It's been a long time since I used this thing. This video is literally 5 years old. But jumping forward, that's all the solution. Someone definitely I didn't do this. Someone definitely put the chapters in here. It's kind of funny to see. Filling it up. Let's keep moving. All right, so now we're actually pouring the chilled solution into the. I guess this is the winterized solution into the conical flask. Conical flask. I don't know.
Conical, I think.
Yeah. Conical
I hate
flask.
pouring that. That's the one thing is I like. It's like I need to get a mason jar with a fucking.
Yeah, that's why I speed it up. It's a ridiculous process. So then we'll go ahead and vacuum it. Appears. All right, so we're lowering the flask into the hot water bath. The hot water bath is set at whatever temperature it is. Maybe I'm dialing it in now. All right, now we're rotating the flask. So now when we rotate this flask, it creates this really thin film on here. And this thin film allows the ethanol, in this case, to separate out from the cannabinoids. And the ethanol evaporates up this. Sorry about that. The ethanol evaporates up. This is where we really wanted to see. So the ethanol kind of evaporates up this chamber here. And this chamber has these coils, which are called condensing coils. And these condensing coils are called condensing coils because they're very cold. And they're a lot colder than the solvent that is entering this chamber. When the solvent enters this chamber as a gas and it hits these coils, it turns into liquid. It drips down these coils and then ends up in the flask at the bottom, which we'll get to. So you can see it dripping off there slowly but surely. So that is the flask of basically distilled ethanol at this point. So this is if you're starting with 90% distilled or 90% ethanol, it might be higher than that. You keep going, it's going to keep getting higher. Keep going. So that's essentially what we have left. Leaving a little bit of ethanol in there. Put it on our little, I forget what this is called, but one of the greatest tools the lab
Beaker
could possibly
stand
have. Yeah. It's so I mean, just so helpful.
Are you leaving just a little bit of ethanol in there specifically because of to work it out of the container like that?
Yes, and I do the same thing when it comes to BHO. I'll leave a little extra BHO or solvent in there to keep the extract at a liquid level or a viscous enough level to pour it into a container without leaving too much behind. Because what I don't like doing, what we used to do in the days of batter, or I guess shatter, was scraping the closed loop system. Like, we upgraded to these shatter platters, right? And it's still what I'm using, but it's these 2-inch bases of your closed loop system rather than a 12-inch base, right? And you can, instead of pouring the whole thing out, you just pour this little dish out and you can scrape out whatever's left. I try not to get it to the point where it's ever scrapable. I mean, there's certainly still times where it gets to that, but the more tane you leave in it, the more you have to purge out later, but also the more kind of extract you're going to get out of your closed loop system. So it's one of those things. I know we've cut the video at this point, but I mean, there's not much to it. It's just
Yeah.
the rest of the drip. That's kind of what you're getting. I want to show you here. So on the left here is the ethanol that I've recovered, and on the right here is the extract that I've extracted. So that's kind of what it is. Feel free to look that up.
Nice.
Very cool.
And that's straight medicine.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's a lot of fun. You honestly, guys, the next step from growing is processing, and I feel like everyone here on this panel has some level of experience in that, and I want to know what your guys' opinion is on that, because it feels like the natural next step to growing this medicine is processing it, like refining it, turning it into something else. Yeah, whether it be RSO, whether it be a topical, whether it be a edible. Hopefully you're not using distillate, but it is what it is.
I don't know. On my end, I've been really researching the Frenchy way, and I'm very interested in doing it old school, not needing a freeze dryer. That kind of thing is where I'm wanting to go. I want to, do hash in the old way.
Hash balls.
Yeah, I really.
That
I was
class is
wondering how
coming
they
to Michigan.
smoke that though.
I know, and I was trying to sign
ladies.
up for it, and I wanted to, but there's a couple things holding me back. No, it's not the money kind of thing. It was that wasn't an issue. It was time, and I have something already planned for that weekend.
It's a long day.
It's not even that. My calendar was already booked for that day for a party for my work that I do for my second job. So
I don't mean long day in a bad thing. Like, it's a long day, and you're paying for it. You're probably paying for what you get, but it's a full day commitment.
I mean, it's so much incorporated into one day, and I'm really bummed I can't do it.
Tell everybody what it is.
Kid, you said Troy.
It's Frenchie. His apprentice is doing a Frenchie cannoli apprentice day kind of situation where she's teaching everybody his method. They're doing a special price for women at $350. The men are being charged possibly a little bit more. I don't know why. I don't want to get into that kind of situation.
I wonder why. Because we got penises.
I just think they're trying to get more women involved, damn it. Now, don't do that. Okay? You don't have to go down the PP route.
Sponsored by edibles.
Hey, you brought it up.
It's like ladies' night at Frenchie's.
Let's get one thing straight. We always have to go down the PP route.
We don't have
he doesn't press his stuff.
It's not no, he doesn't press his stuff. He uses a hot water bottle that has got heated water in it that has been heated, and he uses that to press. So
I've seen it, but the product isn't a dabbable product at that point.
Yep. It's a whole different situation. I mean, and what do you do with it? I'm sorry?
It's not dabbable at that point.
I don't think it is. You have to still go through another process. I haven't got to that area of it yet, but
I watched all his videos.
It's hashish. It's hashish.
Yeah, so unless you're gonna smoke it like Red and Becca's device,
put it in a hookah. Yeah, it's
what's that? Or hookah it up.
A hash dome, a device
for
hashish. One of those is great. Unless it's full melt. Full melt, it's gonna melt off of there.
So I was kind of looking into that situation for myself, kind of, down the lines. And I was, like I said, trying to do that weekend, but I have something already scheduled. So I'm missing out on that. But that's something definitely I'm wanting to look into. I mean, I'm a huge dabber. So, of course, I want to figure out how I can, make my own dabs at home, or if I can't get to somebody that can process my stuff. And, I just.
But it sounds like what that product is, correct me if I'm wrong, is this not a dabbable product? Is this more of a smoking hashish type?
I've never seen it get to a dabbable product.
Yeah, it is.
Video,
but,
he has a big video.
Sometimes whenever you don't have a dab, dry sift on top of your, bowl.
Fantastic.
Is a dab. Becca will tell you that's our go-to when we don't have dabs. We're dry sift on top of flour and
100%.
just hit it, and that's a dab, and for us. So, I don't know. I'm just looking at different avenues, and I'm still such a new grower that I want to still be exploring this and that and scientific, and I don't know. That kind of seems like I'm all about hard work, and so
this
I
is
feel like
this
that's
is an art.
avenue of something I could do.
And let's be honest, this is, Frenchie Cannoli's lost art workshop.
Yeah,
That's what this is.
huge.
You know what I mean? It's not like it's not a Fergoli BHO class. It's not a. It's I don't know. I'm not going to throw out any other names because I don't want to trash anybody, but I'll trash myself. It's not like it doesn't compare. You know what I mean? It doesn't compare to a historical reference, and so to learn that art is truly learning an art. You could learn what I do from literally my YouTube videos.
Oh, absolutely. It's it's
so-
just applying yourself. I was a vegetable grower, mom, raising a family, and got divorced and decided to do something different with my life, and ended up in Kalkaska, Michigan, working at a facility of 5,000 plants, growing beautiful flower, and I learned so much from that facility. I mean, I can't even. Wow.
If you watch Making Hash with Frenchie?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That gives everything.
That's huge. I mean, it's a whole process, and if you know me, I'm all about hard work, and I want to put that extra effort in to get a great product. And I feel like, that would be something. I mean, watch out, Terra Nation's got some, temple balls or something.
Hey, listen, Rascal Farmer.
Yeah, shout out Rascal Farmer. He's he
there
does
you go. Right here.
Yep,
This is
right
the only
there.
one.
Oh gosh, look at you.
Know what I mean? That's the only one. I've never got another one. So
yep. Hang on to that. That's a good one. I've been so lucky to share some with Big Jar, and it's phenomenal. He does phenomenal work. So, yeah, there's lots of different avenues. I love to, make seeds and clones, and there's lots of things.
Literally an endless list of things.
There really is.
If it's not just trying to find all of the terpene profiles, which would take you 25 lifetimes,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Goodness.
It's, I don't know, perfecting an art of hash. It's breeding the perfect strain. It's creating the perfect commercial growing environment. It's, attracting the most customers through your dispensary, whatever it might be,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's producing the most accurate test results at a lab, which I'd love to see that. Let's go,
True.
something, just someone set a standard, because it seems right now in lab testing, we just don't have a standard, and I don't know where to look.
True. There needs to be a standard to be set. Mm-hmm.
Is there, was there a standard?
Like all over the board, so it's like it's over.
What do you mean by there? What do you mean? They need to set a standard in lab testing.
Okay, so not a standard in terms of who's producing the best results, or who's taking the most money, or who's the biggest lab, or but who's got like the most accurate results, and how do you even justify what that is at this point? We've got 12 minutes to solve the lab problem, people.
Well, yeah, that's the weird thing. Is like, we can throw shade, but none of us know how to fix the problem.
Yeah, no, and I'm
none
totally
of us have
not
chemistry degrees.
I wish we had more time, because I'd love to talk about this in depth, because I don't know.
We'd have to talk to somebody.
I think it's been solved. I don't see what. I think the biggest thing the biggest change in the lab scene in Michigan, I think that would help a lot, would be, and it's not perfect, obviously, but would be take some of this fucking money that they're making hand over fist and have a state ran lab that can at any time pick a sample off and do their own testing, and not rely on a competitor testing another. I mean, that's ridiculous. Could you imagine trying to compete in a marketplace where your competitor got to test you to see if what you're doing is right or not? Of course they can say, "Oh, well, no, you failed my test." You know, they have a huge advantage to do that. And I'm not saying they did that or
I
they're
can
doing
see
but
that
it's
only
ridiculous
if
to think that was the way they solved that.
if
No, have an
they're
independent test. Have a
if
test.
those standards were public
What
and
standards are what are you talking about? These standards? What standards?
they're testing standards.
They are
If the
public. All
individual
the testing standards were observed by the CRA.
by the CRA, okay,
Okay,
that's
and
not
passed
public.
by this. And passed by that's our regulatory body. That's the ones that we have to follow in the commercial scene. And they went into every one of these labs and they certified every one of them in all their processes.
They
So
also
that was done
right now. But let's be honest, they certified everything that was out there, and we've seen how many problems there are.
They have failed a lot. What are you talking about? They certified every single one out there.
I'm saying everything that is licensed now, they have certified and licensed, and there's been a lot of every month there's 30 to 50 failures or fines every single month, and these are companies and organizations that the CRA has certified. So they are certifying organizations that are failing. It's not like we have a perfect system. And I would like to see some sort of standardization and testing that is public and that everyone can kind of cross-reference. And I hate.
Wait.
No, hold on, because I'm going to agree with you here. I hate regulatory bodies and more regulations, but I kind of agree that having some sort of public standardized test in which everyone is capable of seeing what that is involved, and then cross-referencing that with, I don't know, randomized lab testing, because we don't even have a way to test the labs, right? Like, there's no way to like.
Yes,
I know we've certified them.
The CRA goes in and they test them. Yes, that's how this all blew up, was the CRA going in and testing the lab.
More testing their failures, right? Something that already went through. Okay, I see what you're saying. I think it's okay. What I'm trying to say is there's no standardized testing from lab to lab. They might use their own way of testing. Yeah, their method of testing that cannabis sample. And that
all of those methods were approved by the state.
I know, but they're different, dude. And that's the problem. Like there's no cohesion across all these labs throughout the state. So you end up going lab shopping for whatever just gives you the best results.
But you can't do anything until the federal government moves off their ass. So we can.
Why not?
Because you can't have a federal standard.
But the state could have a standard. It's a state-run program.
The state could have a standard and spend $1 billion in making a standard, and then as soon as the federal government goes legal, that standard means jack shit.
Oh well, we're gonna have a lot of people having problems once it goes federal. I mean,
that's why the state won't move on anything, because they're just gonna wait for federal to go, and that'll be their problem.
Yeah, well, I guess it's just gonna take lawsuits then, right? Like more and more lawsuits.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you're talking about specifically, but yeah, that's exactly
just do standardized testing, because I think
it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, you don't think so?
No, because the standard is the regulation, and they'd have to change the regulation to be like, no, now you have to do it this way or in this way, and they've done that with this varieties whatever lawsuit. If you look at it's a public, you can look that whole thing up, and it's public, and they go right into the whole entire process that they use, and it's not like it's anything crazy.
I know, but that could be totally different from what PSI or Iron Labs or whomever might use, right?
Not totally different. I mean,
why not?
Because they're testing for something.
There's only so many ways to
if you're testing like a mold test and you're testing one in the dark and one in the light, that's a totally different. No, they have standards. They still have standards, and that's why the CRA had to stand there and watch them do their thing. So I mean, it's generally the same, but there might be a few tweaks that are different.
For sure, and I understand that. But just like we've talked about science throughout the show, I think there's different views on the operations behind the scientific method, and similarly, does not every cannabis grow, whether it be Class C, B, or A, have different SOPs for how they run their grow, and aren't those all approved by the CRA? I mean,
you have to have one.
Okay, but what is it based on?
You have to submit them, I think, as part of your
It's
application.
more of like a
Absolutely.
safety OSHA type thing. They want
You
like
can go.
just
What
like
what
they
Baked
want
is
your
saying is you could go into
SDS
your
sheath out. They
average
don't
grow,
actually
and not
look
one
into them, I
person
don't think.
knows it.
Yeah, like I don't know it. The CRA doesn't read it, but they want to make sure you have it. It's
More of a
it's a little
political
song and
document.
dance. Yes, it's a little, but that's the same as OSHA. It's the same as the fire inspector. Fire
Exactly.
inspector doesn't give a shit. He didn't scan anything. He just looks at it.
So when it
Well,
comes down to the methods in which these labs are testing for, how standardized are just the methods then? Not
well, that's where we'd have to talk to somebody like Rachel from Deep Roots or somebody that's actually
okay.
doing a THC test and knows there's probably only I can't imagine there's much more than 3 or 4 methods to test THC. I mean, that's not something we've worked on for 100,000 years.
But in
Don't see it.
handling samples, which might be an SOP, that could
That should be
drastically. You know what I
pretty
mean?
Yeah. So
Well-
like what got Verde's the raising of the eyebrows was they were grinding up the sample and including what was left in the grinder back into the sample, which that was a big no-no supposedly, to dump that keef back into the product that came off.
I got a buddy who works for PSI, and he would go pick up samples from places. I don't know if he had to go do the.
They don't pick them up in the metric. They come test them in house.
Yeah.
They bring all their equipment.
They don't test it. Oh,
They don't
make the
test it, but they
test.
take
Yeah.
the samples.
They take the samples. They collect
And
the
then-
samples. in the house. So that's probably what.
Yeah.
We could possibly get him on. He works at PSI.
We should definitely do that.
Yes,
Is that a medical number?
I hate labs. First of all of them are biased. They're the most cutthroaty people. First of all, there's 500 million of them in Michigan. There's 3 now in Jackson.
Very expensive.
And they all
Damn,
they're
that
like
many?
worse than car salesmen. They call all the legal places. Blah, 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 blah. I'll do this.
I don't know. I think it would
blah,
be
blah.
good to hear from somebody in the lab portion of it. Just,
Yeah.
How much do you think we could
Once
get
they
the
can
owner?
remain
on?
like literally. Do you not remember the Hash Bash Cup?
Oh yeah.
Like, they literally made a face like a child. It's like, wow, you guys are pros.
Yeah, I can't.
But
I'm sorry. I'm
the
not a
labs
fan.
are so. Ugh.
Also, some of the behind the scene political
That's-
stuff that Side Loves is attached to. I'm not a huge fan of either.
But
I've
that's why the
heard.
state thing wouldn't be that bad. But like, I also don't want the CRA, who's kind of like ignorant as fuck. Why would I want them?
police? Is that what you
be
mean? The
ones-
popo?
Yeah. Now, it's like I don't want them in charge because they're stupid.
Yeah, this last hiring is ridiculous. When you make the director ex-police, not.
Yeah, I'm convinced fully that the entire CRA now is like he's just hiring his ex-cop buddies. So it's literally just they're re-instigating kind of the drug war through their own means of the CRA.
So you're saying the price is going back up? Is that what you're
Hey,
saying?
maybe, yeah. But yeah, they're just dumb.
I mean, it's not going down right now. I'll tell you that.
But yep. So
Well,
I don't know.
with the
Oh,
testing,
yeah, all sides
we got 2 minutes. The fucking tests are arbitrary. I mean, well, okay, you got the bacteria in tests; those ones are, whatever. But it's
That's the
causing
thing. The THC ones are arbitrary, like
the
Red says.
THC ones are totally arbitrary.
So what's it? Yeah, like if you're gonna standardize anything, do the bacteria ones. But
Yeah, because like
to the point y'all have made before on this show, nobody's died from untested weed anyways.
yeah,
Right.
we should all be able to just fucking sign a waiver. That
It's
says-
almost like you lean towards fuck testing.
Whatever.
Otherwise,
We used to be able
perp.
to, Red, for a solid, I don't know, 4 to 6 months. Caregivers used to be able to provide
Oh, straight
to the
to
Michigan market.
Yeah.
And all I had to do was send a waiver saying, I
Yeah, it was
understand
only
this is
4 or 6
untested
months.
caregiver weed.
Oh, 6
Oh, it's
years.
very small. Very. I mean, it probably
Colorado,
wasn't
I
that
think,
amount
got
of
a
time.
couple of years. I remember them talking about it.
That was after.
That's what I was just
the
joking about at the
recession.
beginning of the show. I was like, "Come on, Ohio, get some backpack days." But
Not gonna last long.
Ohio needs to go legal just to embarrass all of the other all of the other states.
Like
to look and be
Indiana
like,
and
oh
stuff.
shit! They're like, oh shit! Ohio's legal. What the fuck are we doing?
yeah,
I mean, if Indiana could pull that off. I mean, they would embarrass the entire country by being like, "Oh yeah, no.
That'd be
Guess
huge.
what? All of our corn is now mandated to be cannabis, and it's
Wait till-
mandated to be the haziest of hazes. Because guess what? We grow this shit. Oh,
That's crazy right there.
Indiana.
I was gonna say, I would think Indiana might switch before Georgia or Alabama.
I don't know about
Oh,
that.
Alabama actually has a program, I think.
I mean, everybody around Indiana is pushing for it, so they gotta fall eventually. But everyone's telling me they're going to be the last ones. I don't believe
I
it.
don't know.
I
I
know
feel
you
like-
country farm
yeah.
boys are pulling for that shit. Let's go.
So many dry counties in Indiana, you know, too, like that they had, and it's just
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, but if you get
State
legal-
issue though, right?
legal cannabis
Hopeful.
there, things will
Hopeful
loosen
for
up.
them.
Yeah. Let's go,
Definitely
boys.
hopeful. Cheers, everybody.
Go vote yes
Cheers.
too in
Issue
Ohio.
2 tomorrow.
Ohio.